Damn kids. Tagging everything. Can't put up a good fake brick wall anymore without somebody coming over and tagging their name all over it. Disgraceful. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek video. I'm Phil, the Glacial Geek, and today I'm going to be talking to you about something that I think comes to the mind of most of us now, especially those of us who are interested in 40K or honestly, any of Games Workshop's games. Recently, Games Workshop sent me over the new World Eaters and Plague Eaters. World Eaters and Death Guard box sets, like the Battleforce sets, with the new characters inside. So thank you, GW, for that. But with that comes this same sense that a lot of people talk about, the FOMO boxes, like these boxes that you have to get because they're limited time only, and that's kind of what you have going on. Who are these for? You know, I know that the sense is that they're designed just to be this like FOMO thing to make you want to buy it right away and get this stuff. And you do get them at a pretty decent discount, or at least some discount, depending upon which of the models that you need or are going to use. Which kind of takes me to the crux of what I kind of wanted to discuss today, which is who are they designed for? Like, who is the people that are really truly going to be getting the best bang for their buck from these boxes, and who are they really designed to be bought by and utilized by? Obviously, the quick answer is they are able to be used and bought by whoever. So if you are interested in the models, if you think they're cool, if you want to give them a shot, that's what they're there for. And you can get a pretty decent discount on what you would normally get from GW. And I know you can get even more discount if you get them from not their official website. There's plenty of ways that you can do that. But you would think that they are designed to be kind of for a certain type of gamer, a certain person out there, a certain clientele. There's got to be a target audience for these, other than just the people who want to collect everything and that want to get everything. You know, like, sure, there are those people that will buy literally everything that comes through, but that's not the majority of us. That's not the majority of gamers out there. Those are the people that are, you know, they call them, like in the gacha games, the whales. Like, they're the ones that are always going to keep coming and buying and spending. And GW doesn't have to put out these special boxes for them to do that. They just have to put out models. But you would think that if they are going to be boxing a whole bunch of them together, which I know doesn't require them to make any other sprues other than the new character, which will eventually be its own thing. But they could individually make more money on each of these different sprues that they make, selling them individually. So why make them into these boxes? And I think that the answer to this is maybe a little bit more clear for these kind of boxes than they are for like the new release army boxes. So obviously, like when they come out with the new ones like the Emperor's Children or the Krieg, or like when they had the Dark Angels or anything like that, the Blood Angels, when they came out with like a new line refresh for an army, they've been putting out these boxes that come with like a limited edition codex and the cards. Those are really great, especially if you're already a member, like you already play that faction and you need to get the new book anyway, and now you get you get the new models, and you need to get the cards. Like, all of it comes together in those boxes. Those are great for that, for ongoing players. But these battle boxes, they don't come with the codex. They don't come with the new codex. They don't come with the new cards. So you'd have to buy those separately. They don't come with many new models other than that new character, who will eventually be released as an individual model, because that's just what they do. And especially for something like this, where all the other sprues are old sprues that they're putting in there, it's not going to be combined with the other sprues there. So it's its own sprue, basically ready to be released as its own thing. So who is this? Who's this for? Who wants to get this? And I think in order to get that answer, you kind of have to look at what's being released with them, which is the combat patrols. So the combat patrols are, you know, they're ostensibly a way to play the game right out of the box, that you just have to buy the one box and you can play them against any other combat patrol to get a sense for Warhammer 40K. You can dip your toes in. It's one box, one purchase, and you're good to play a game of Warhammer 40K, at least adjacent kind of thing. The rules are slightly tempered. They're designed to be balanced against the other combat patrols, which is great. Like, if you want to get into the world of Warhammer 40K, into the miniatures world, that's a great way to do it, especially if you want to get into the future there. And, you know, they also have the same thing in AOS they've been doing that they've been having success with. But in this one in particular, we have this Battleforce box, and we have it releasing at the same time as the combat patrols. And if you look at the models that are in each of these, they pair up very well. So just taking a look at the World Eaters side of things, we have the combat patrol, which consists of 10 berserkers, 10 jackals, a demon prince who can be either flying or on foot, and a master of executions. And that comes to a total of anywhere between 485 points or 505 points if you are putting them together in the way they have that. So if it's on foot, you're going to have a little bit more. The demon prince is basically the deciding factor on the build that you can do there. So if you're going to build him on foot, he's a little bit more expensive. If you're going to build him with the wings, he's a little bit less expensive. So that's what you have there as the base. You then have the Gore Storm Slaughter Pack Battleforce, which is the Battleforce box that's coming with them. In there you get 20 jackals, which can either be 130 points total if you run them as 2 10s, or you have 140 points if you run them as one big 20. You have 9 8-bound that can be anywhere between 450 points and 480 points, depending upon if you do the 8-bound or the Exalted 8-bound. And you have the Slaughterbound, which is the new character that comes with that. So that comes to a total of either between 665 points and 705 points, depending upon how you build it and how you play them out there. Coming to a grand total with the two of between 1,150 points and 1,210 points, which is a fantastic starting point to build up to a 2,000 point list. You know, it's also a great way to expand on the combat patrol. So if you have that combat patrol and then you add in this, you're in a great spot for building up a World Eaters army there, because you've got basically the 3 squads of 10 jackals, which, you know, the cultists in Chaos Marines armies are pretty good. Like, they're pretty decent for what they can do. You know, obviously, I guess, you know, the Emperor's Children didn't get any in their codex, but you know, you have the Poxwalkers, you have these guys, and you have like the Zangors for the Thousand Suns. They all do a good job. They're all battle line units. They can do things that you need them to. They're good chaff. They're good models to have on the board there. And having that nice set of 30 there to work with is pretty good when you're trying to build up a useful force that can do things for you. You then have the 10 berserkers. Berserkers are great, and berserkers are like going to be the main chunk of like an army that you want to do there. So you're going to want to have those in there, which kind of leads you to believe that they didn't intend for the Battleforce box to be the way for people to start. It was more like this plus the combat patrol gets you somewhere. And then you have like the 2 characters with the Demon Prince, which is always fun to have, and you have the Master of Executions, and now the new Slaughterbound. Between those 3, you now have a good selection of HQs that you want to run in your army so that you can run them with the different ways that you have there. So you've got the 8-bound that come in there that can be paired up with the Slaughterbound. You have, you know, the Master of Executions who can go with the Berserkers, and the Demon Prince who just runs on his own thing because that's what they do. So it's just kind of interesting to see how those all panned out. You've got very little overlap except for battle line units, which you're going to want to have a bunch of anyway because that's just the way of things. And at that point, you've got a pretty good basis. You buy a couple more squads of Berserkers, maybe get a Rhino or 2, and maybe an Angron. And now you've got yourself, you know, a big chunky list that you can be running World Eaters and you can have a lot of fun with. And let's take a look at the Death Guard ones as well. So for their combat patrol, you're looking at a Rhino, which is always a nice thing to have. Having a vehicle in a combat patrol is a nice new thing. Like, they've been moving more towards, you know, bodies as opposed to vehicles in these. They used to be a vehicle plus a bunch of things, and now they're moving away from that. They're moving more into, you know, units and stuff like that, which is nice to see that maybe this is another way forward with them. And now that shows that they have that option when they're building them. So you have the Rhino, you have 7 Plague Marines, you have 3 Death Shroud Terminators, which are big chonky boys, which are always fun to have. You have the Lord of Virulence, and you have the Tallyman. So you have 2 characters. You've got the Plague Marines, which are your battle line unit. You've got your Rhino to get them into places, and you've got the Death Shroud Terminators that can deep strike in and punch things, which is pretty fun. That's going to come to 485 points. You don't have much choice in the build of that. You've got the 7 Plague Marines from the box there. That's the base number that you've got there. You can run them as 5s or 10s, but you'd have to have other ones. We'll get into that in a second. So then with the Poxrot Vector Battleforce, which is the Battleforce box that's also coming out with them here, you have the Lord of Poxes, which is the brand new character. You have another 7 Plague Marines, again, just getting the battle line unit. Plague Marines are going to be the staple unit that you're going to want with these. You've got 5 Blight Lord Terminators that are coming in here, so a different type of Terminator, so you're not doubling up on the Death Shroud. You've got the Blight Lords coming in there. They do a kind of a different kind of job. They, you know, you've got the sides on the Death Shroud Terminators, and then you've got like basically like your basic Terminators with the Blight Lord Terminators going in there. You have a Fetid Bloat Drone, you have a Mephitic Blight Hauler, and you have a Plague Burst Crawler. Plague Burst Crawlers are rad. Like, those are a fun, awesome tank that you now have in there that's going to be doing awesome things. You've got the 2 other vehicles that are going to be going along with them, like those demon vehicles. So you've got you know, the Mephitic Blight Hauler, and you've got the Fetid Bloat Drone. So you've got like a fast guy, and you've got a guy that's going to have some firepower that can be pumping out there. That box set, again, not much build difference that you can do with that. It's going to come out to 765 points. So all told there, it's going to be coming out to 1,250 points, which is, I mean, what, 40 points off from the World Eaters combined set there. I mean, that seems pretty coincidental, right? That the biggest build that you can do with the World Eaters is this almost the same points as the ones they've got from the Plague Marines here. 1,250 points is, again, a solid bunch that you can have there. This also gives you points that you can use for like putting onto your characters there that you've got. Because again, between this, you've got another 3 characters in the Poxwalkers, in the Death Guard squad. So you had 3 characters between the 2 sets in the World Eaters. You now have 3 characters between the 2 in the Death Guard. And you've got, you've got doubling up on only the battle line squads, which is great. So you've got a nice variety of units. Death Guard goes into more vehicles, which is great, but then, with the World Eaters, you want bodies that are just going to be going nuts, because that's what the World Eaters are. That's like the sense that you get from them, and the ponderous nature of the Death Guard is kind of what you also expect from them. So I think it's a great way to start an army. So if you already play 40K and you're thinking about starting a new army, buying these 2 together, you now have a solid chunk in which to build the army and kind of grow from there. So to me, looking at the way they have there, the points they have there, I think that the combat patrols are designed for completely new players. Those are designed to give you a baseline of units that you can use that will be helpful going forward in building an army, but can be used to play games of combat patrol to get a sense of how the game operates, how things are, building models, doing all that fun stuff that miniature gaming is about. And on top of it, if you are already a player of 40K, you like it, and you're looking to start a new army, that's where I think the Battle Forces come in here. So you can buy the Combat Patrol and the Battle Force, and you now have a solid base that you can then, season to taste up to 2,000 points. Because I feel, I mean, again, I'm not coming at you telling you that these boxes now are going to set you up to win LVO. I'm not saying that these are going to now set you up to be in the World Championships. What I am saying is that you have a solid base to create like an awesome army that you can build to a 2,000 point army very easily and get to a place where you can have a lot of fun with, if that's what you're looking for. If you are looking for an army, to start a new army, that's what they're designed for. So the Combat Patrols are brand new players. That's what I feel like they're designed for. And the combination of Combat Patrol and Battle Force is designed for people who are looking to start a new army but already like Warhammer 40K. So I think it's a little overboard if you are just dipping your toe into 40K to buy both the Battle Force and the Combat Patrol to start right away, because I think that, I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that if you are just getting into miniature wargaming, if you're just getting into Warhammer 40K and you want a taste of what it's like, Combat Patrol is the way to go, because you and your friend could each buy a Combat Patrol, play a couple games of that, and if you like it, then you can buy the Battle Force box, or you can buy whatever other units you want to build up to bigger and bigger armies from there. I mean, even just those Combat Patrols, you're looking at about 500 points. So you're looking at like a good starting place to do that, and you put in some bonuses onto your characters there, and you're once you go into the main game, and suddenly you are like almost exactly at 500 points with them, which is great, because now you have a place that you can start at, that you can move forward and just like be. It's exciting, that you can go from there. But if you're already playing 40K and you want to start a new army and you've been feeling the calls of the whispers of the warp, then, this is the best way for you to start your new army. If I'm being honest, because you're going to get a discount on all the units individually here. And if you buy them from somewhere else that gives you a discount on top of it, suddenly now you have a way to start a brand new army that's going to allow you to have a big chunk of units that you can then season to taste. Because if they gave you exactly 2,000 points, you would have no choice in what you were doing. And also those points are going to change. What they gave you here is a good starting base for this army that you can build and make however you want them. You want some more Plague Burst Crawlers, you can buy some of those. If you want some more Rhinos, if you want some more Berserkers, if you want some more like line infantry, you can buy them and get them. You've got a good selection of characters, so you don't have to really worry about that right away. You've got a bunch of the battle line units if you're not interested in kind of expanding that way. And you've got some other fun, flavorful units that are fun to be able to play, and the reason that you would want to be doing these armies. So that's my thought. My thought is that these are not designed for everyone to buy. These are not even designed, I don't think the Battle Forces are even designed for new players to buy. They are designed for people who already play 40K that are thinking about starting a new army, and this gives you a great starting point in which to do it. It's designed to push you kind of over the edge to start a new army, to start this thing that you've been thinking about, but now you have a good way to do it without having to individually buy all those units and go from there. So do I think that it does that job very well? Yes, I think it does a fantastic job. And if you are thinking about starting a World Eater's army, or you were thinking about starting a Death Guard army, this to me is the way to go for it. And that's what I think they're for. So, do I think that these 2 boxes here are going to change the world? No. But do I think that they could be what you're looking for? Absolutely. So let me know down below what you think about them. Are you still just mad about the FOMO tactics that they kind of do with this? And I get that. I do get that. And I think that, I would only buy these if you are sure that you want to start a new army. If you're thinking, oh, maybe in the future I might want to, hold off, because you never know what's going to happen. You don't know when the new edition is going to come out. You don't know if you're going to start it before a new edition comes out. You may change your mind. They might come out with a different, Battle Force that comes up that you're really excited about. But if you are in the position where you were like, I need to start a new army, I've got enough of what I've worked for before, and I'm looking to try to go a different direction. I like what I had, but I'm thinking something else. But I need to do it now. This is why I would buy it. This is when I would buy it. These are the ones that I would buy. You're the one I think that would get the most benefit out of this. If this is just going to be bought and sitting on your shelf, it does no one any good. It doesn't do you any good, because there's so many kits that are in this that it's not really the kind of thing that you want to have as like a backup. You want to have this as being the thing that you are building. You're actually going to build and want to play with. So I don't think that there should be much FOMO here. The individual characters, if that's all you're looking for, they will be coming out as their own thing in the future. I guarantee you. There's no reason they wouldn't be. And if that's the only reason that you're looking to get this box, I would wait. Because recently they've been doing it a lot faster on the follow-up that they've come out with these, especially they've already got the Lord Exultant from the launch box for the Emperor's Children is already available individually. Everything from that is already available individually. So I imagine that this is going to be going the same way, that they're going to want to get it out there. But if you're starting a new army, these are definitely the way to go. So let me know down below what you think about it. Again, I know the FOMO issue is an issue, and I don't think there's an answer to that, because they obviously do well. Otherwise, Games Workshop wouldn't keep doing them. So this is obviously a business decision on their part as well, because they're a business, and that's how they stay in business, is by making business decisions. And whether you want to fall for that or whether you think you're falling for that, that's up to you. And you have to be, self-reflective. And that's what I've been pushing, is being aware of yourself and your hobby is the best way forward. And it doesn't matter if it's, do I need this? Do I want this? Or if it's, am I having fun, Because maybe that's what the decision comes down to, is you're sitting back and you've been playing the same army and you're like, well, no, I'm a Votann player. That's what I play. I play Votann, but man, they're just not fun. I'm not having fun playing them, and I want to do something different. I want to try something new. And, if you have the disposable income, you're looking for a new challenge, you're looking for something new, maybe this is the way to go for it, Maybe World Eater is just running up the board, charging and punching things in the face is the nice departure from, your gunline army that you've been running, and you're looking for something new. Or you're looking for a different kind of, challenge paint-wise. This is probably a good way for you to go forward. But be self-aware and be cognizant, and don't just buy this because it's there. Buy this because you're actually going to benefit from this. Buy this because you want it. And that's what I would suggest doing from there. So let me know down below if you are going to buy these, if you already run these armies, if, you know, I would wait just till the new character comes out, if I'm being honest, if you already run these armies. Are you starting one of these new armies? Had you wanted to and suddenly this was like the final thing that you're like, yes, this is the final straw on the camel's back. I've broken down and I'm buying a new army. Is it something that's piqued your interest? You're like, you know what? I've always thought they were cool and this seems like a good way to start it up. There you go. You know, let me know down below what you think about this. What you think, if you think there's a better way to start a new army, if you think there's a better way for people who are just getting into the game to try its different things, let me know down below. I also want to point out that, you know I'm a part of the Army Painters Factory team, including with a member with our good friend Heresy for Heretics over there, Bring the Ruckus. Go, give him a shout out because I always love shouting out my friends. And part of that has brought a lot of good things for me, including getting to, get to know people like Heresy more. But I know that I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for you people who have been watching, sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing to my channel now for 10 years. I wouldn't be able to be a part of what I am without you. And I made sure that when I negotiated my contract to be a part of the Army Painters Factory team, that there was a way for me to give back to you because I know I needed to say thank you for putting me here. So if you go to the Army Painter and use the code FactoryGeek5 at checkout, you can get yourself a 5% discount on all of your purchases at the Army Painter there. That includes everything. So if you are starting a new army and you need the different set of paints, go ahead, you can get them there. They've got them the speed paints, so you can get them with the fanatic paints or the air paints. Those are pretty good for starting a new army if you just need to base coat all the colors there. There you go. Go get there and get a 5% discount. And for my patrons, first of all, thank you so much for everything that you do for me. But also, there's an additional code in my Patreon for 10% off of your orders that you can get. The Army Painter wanted to keep that behind the paywall. It's an extra thank you to those of you who are my patrons who more directly help support the channel. So an extra thank you to you. But seriously, thank you for everyone who has helped me get to what I'm doing and be able to do this and be able to kind of have an excuse to paint my damn face on a wall. But I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly have. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. And until next time, stay safe and have fun.